Hey everyone, our lesson today is fractions part 8 with a focus on changing an improper fraction into a mixed number. Well, what is an improper fraction? An improper fraction is a fraction where the numerator is greater than the denominator. So in this case, the numerator, the top number, 8, is greater than the bottom number, which is the denominator. A mixed number is when we have a whole number, which in this case 1, and a fraction of 2/6. And an improper fraction and mixed number, in this case 8/6, is equal to 1 and 2/6. And you can look at it either way. Some people would look at this, and in this case we're looking at both at the same time, we're including them together. And some people would see this as an improper fraction. And the reasoning goes like this. They say, well, each of these pieces are a sixth, and they see, I'll go this way this time, 1, 2, 3 pieces, 4, 5, 6, but there's more over here, 7, 8, and they would say, well, this is really 8 pieces, or in other words, 8/6. Well, that would be expressed as an improper fraction. Another person would look at this and say, well, that's really 1 whole. And they would be correct also. And they say, well, it's 1 whole, but this one over here is just 2 pieces, or in other words, 2/6. But notice that they are equal. Our job today is to figure out how to do this mathematically to make 8/6 into a mixed number of 1 and 2/6. How we change an improper fraction to a mixed number is we divide. We divide the numerator by the denominator. In other words, the top number is divided by the bottom number, but we need to remember that when we write a remainder, the remainder must be written as a fraction. Let me show you. So here we have 8/6. This is from the previous page, and we already know that 8/6 will equal 1 and 2/6, but let's figure out how and why. 8/6, write this as a division statement, 8 divided by 6. 8 divided by 6 would be 1. In other words, 6 can go into 8 one time. We multiply the 1 times the 6, write it underneath, and we can see that it's different. We need to find out how much. 8 minus 6 is 2. Here is our remainder of 2. But because we're dealing with fractions, we need to write this as a fraction. So I'm going to put that on top, draw my fraction bar. Our denominator in this case would be 6. So our mixed number is 1 and 2/6. And you can see that matches exactly what we said on our model on the previous page. Let's try another one. 15/8, and our job is to change this from an improper fraction to a mixed number. Well, we're going to divide. The top number is 15 divided by the 8. 15 divided by 8 would equal 1. In other words, 8 will only go into 15 one time. 1 times 8 is 8, and then we need to find the difference, and we do that in math by subtracting. 15 minus 8 would be 7, a little bit tight here. Now here's our remainder of 7, but remember we must write that as a fraction. So that goes on top, and our bottom number would be our denominator of 8. So our answer would be 1 and 7/8. And I can show you on the model here, instead of a circle models, we're just using fraction strips. This purple box here with the dividing line would equal 1 whole, and this would be a second whole, because remember, we're dealing with more than 1. These orange sections represent our sections of 8, and then there's 15 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. And that, you can see, would equal 1 whole. But we have more. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So you can see on the bottom how we're expressing that as an improper fraction. But if we wanted to express this as a mixed number, some people would look at this and say, well, this section here equals 1 whole, and they would just count this as an add-on. They would say, well, these sections would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 7/8. And that's how you could arrive at 1 7/8. Try another one. Change an improper fraction to a mixed number. Remember, we're going to divide, and we're going to make sure we write our remainder as a fraction, 13/4. 13 divided by the bottom number of 4. If you're struggling with your division, remember that we could use multiples. Let's take 4, and we could say 4, 8, 12, and 16. And I see 13. 16 is too far. You're not allowed to go over when you divide. You have to stay under as close as you can. So that would be 12. And it's going to be 1, 2, 3. 4 goes into 13 3 times. 3 times 4 is 12. And we can see that here, by the way. When we subtract, we get 1. It's really tight today. Here's our remainder, and we write that as a fraction. And here's our denominator. So it would be 3 1/4. Again, we can show that here. We can show it both ways on these models. Here you can see that we have 4 ones. And if we wanted to show 13/4, that would be our green. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So that would explain our 13/4. But if you wanted to look at it as a mixed number, you would say that, this would be 1 whole. This part would also be 1 whole. We're adding, right? This would be 1 whole, but this is not 1 whole. This is simply a fraction. So we would say 1, 2, 3. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3, but this is only 1/4, and that's how we would arrive at our mixed number of 3 1/4. And finally, change an improper fraction to a mixed number. Let's try this one here. 31 divided by 6. If I use my multiples, I could say 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. That's close enough. Can't go over. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 6 is our 30. And if we subtract, our 1 is remainder. We must write that as a fraction. So our answer, or our mixed number, would be 5 1/6. It would be a good idea to watch this video again if you have to. Also, if you're a little bit rusty on improper fractions and mixed numbers, you can watch Fractions Part 3 and the lesson for Fractions Part 4, and also the lesson for multiplication. So in review today, our lesson was how to change an improper fraction to a mixed number. We said that an improper fraction is a fraction with a numerator that is greater than our denominator, and a mixed number is a combination of a whole number and a fraction. And how we change it is that we divide the numerator by the denominator, but make sure you express any remainder as a fraction. All right, thanks everybody, and we'll see you next time.